Coco Gauff's bold decision that earned her $600,000. My coach didn't want me to come. The American tennis player won the Wuhan Open final this Sunday. Coco Gauff is closing out the year with a bang. After a shaky start to the 2025 WTA season, the American tennis player won her second singles title of the year, all thanks to the courage to contradict her coach. Gauff, ranked number 3 in the world, struggled at the start of the season, losing in the quarterfinals of the Australian Open and racking up back-to-back second-round losses in Qatar and Dubai. Comparter and Facebook. Comparter and Twitter. Comparter and Telegram. Comparter and WhatsApp. Envier por email. Tennis. Get tickets for the best tennis tournaments at Tickets Marca. UK News. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle dine out for lavish lunch in New York with Serena Williams after receiving special award. Coco Gauff is closing out the year with a bang. After a shaky start to the 2025 WTA season, the American tennis player won her second singles title of the year, all thanks to the courage to contradict her coach. Gauff, ranked number 3 in the world, struggled at the start of the season, losing in the quarterfinals of the Australian Open and racking up back-to-back second-round losses in Qatar and Dubai. In a flash of brilliance, the American player won the French Open, but then lost in the second round in Berlin and the first round at Wimbledon. Looking to correct the problems with her serve, Gauff hired biomechanics expert Gavin McMillan. After losing in the fourth round at the US Open, the change finally paid off for Gauff, who today won the Wuhan Open, defying orders from her coach, Jean-Christophe Forel. The defiant Coco Gauff. Gauff reached the final in Wuhan without dropping a set and defeated compatriot Jessica Pegula 6-5, 7-5 in the final. The victory earned her a not inconsiderable sum of $596,000. Speaking at the presentation, Gauff revealed that Forel didn't want her to go on her Asian swing so she could continue working with McMillan on her service issues. It was a great Asian swing, Gauff said after winning Wuhan and reaching the semifinals in Beijing. I'm going to call JC Forel out. He originally didn't want me to come because I had a tough US Open, but I had to prove him wrong. However, Coco admitted that it could all have been a ruse on Forel's part. I'm a very stubborn person, so maybe he said that on purpose for me to have a good result here, Gauff jokingly admitted. What's next for Coco? Beyond the prize money, the victory in Wuhan cemented Gauff's position as the third in the WTA rankings, guaranteeing her a spot in the WTA finals. Gauff qualified alongside Pegula, Aryna Sabalenka, Iga Swiatek, Australian Open champion Madison Keys, and Wimbledon and US Open runner-up Amanda Anisimova. With her stubborn nature and if she can consolidate her serve with the help of McMillan, Gauff will be a force to be reckoned with at the WTA's year-ending tournament, and who knows, maybe next year we'll have a new world number 1. When Coco Gauff landed in Wuhan, few expected her to be there, least of all her coach. The 21-year-old American had just come off a grueling stretch of tournaments, her body begging for rest, her team gently urging her to skip the Chinese swing. My coach didn't want me to come, she admitted with a mischievous grin after her latest victory. But Gauff, driven by instinct and unshakable self-belief, made a decision that would not only silence doubts but also earn her a cool $600,000, and more importantly, remind the world why she's one of tennis's fiercest competitors. A risk that raised eyebrows. Wuhan wasn't supposed to be on Coco's schedule. The tour calendar had been brutal. Back-to-back hardcourt events, travel across time zones, and the emotional roller coaster of a young superstar constantly in the spotlight. Her coach, Brad Gilbert, reportedly encouraged her to rest and focus on the upcoming WTA finals, where she'd be defending precious ranking points. But Gauff, who's built her career on defying convention, felt differently. Something in me said I needed to come, she told reporters after her opening round win. Sometimes you just have to listen to your gut instead of the spreadsheets. It was a statement both brave and revealing, a reminder that Gauff isn't just an athlete following orders. She's a thinker, a risk-taker, and, increasingly, the architect of her own destiny. The first step into the storm. Her first match in Wuhan wasn't easy. Jet lag, unfamiliar conditions, and a tough opponent had her trailing early. Cameras caught Gilbert pacing in the stands, his expression tight, as if silently thinking, "I told you so." But Coco, in typical Gauff fashion, refused to bow. "I was down, I was tired, and I thought maybe this was a mistake," she confessed later. "But then I remembered, every great thing I've done in my career started with a little doubt." From the U.S. Open title run to her breakout win in Cincinnati, Gauff's story has always been one of resilience. She thrives in adversity, turning skepticism into fuel. Wuhan would be no different. A streak that shocked everyone. As the week went on, something shifted. The sluggish footwork was replaced with her trademark speed. Her forehand, once erratic, found its rhythm. Day by day, match by match, Coco began carving through the draw. She beat seasoned veterans in three-set thrillers, handled rising stars with poise, and most impressively, seemed to grow stronger with every battle. By the semifinals, the very people who questioned her decision to travel were now praising her instinct. "Coco Gauff is proving why belief sometimes matters more than logic," one commentator said during the broadcast. "She's rewriting the rules of when to push and when to rest." The moment that changed everything. In the final, the young American faced a familiar foe, another top 10 player known for her power and precision. It was a clash of equals, a test of endurance and will. Gauff dropped the first set 4-6, then stormed back to take the second 7-5. The decider was a blur of athletic brilliance, lung-busting rallies, clutch serves, and lightning-fast defense. The Wuhan crowd, initially reserved, began chanting her name with every point. When the final ball flew long, Coco dropped her racket and threw her hands to the sky. She'd done it, against the odds, against her coach's advice, against fatigue and expectation. As she stood at the trophy presentation, the announcer mentioned her prize money, $600,000 for the champion. Gauff smiled knowingly, her eyes sparkling with a mix of pride and playfulness. "I guess it was worth the trip," she quipped, sending the crowd into laughter. "My coach didn't want me to come." Later in the press room, reporters were eager to know more about her decision to play Wuhan despite opposition from her camp. Coco, never one to shy away from honesty, explained. "My coach didn't want me to come, he thought I needed a break. And he wasn't wrong. I was tired. But something told me this tournament could help me build momentum. I told him, I'm going, even if you say no." That kind of conviction might sound reckless from a young player, but Gauff's intuition has always been her superpower. She doesn't chase results, she chases growth. And in Wuhan, that mindset paid off, literally and symbolically. "Sometimes," she continued, "you have to trust your own voice. Even if it's not the loudest one in the room."